Favorite movies of all time, A League of Their Own. You might remember the Tom Hanks character, Jimmy Dugan, famously said, "There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying. There's no crying in football." I mean, was there? Or maybe there is now.
There is,
yeah.
if you feel emotional. For instance, Jason Kelsey, the offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, broke down when announcing his retirement on Monday. Did you see it?
Thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you, Philadelphia, from the bottom of my heart.
Now, he is not the first NFL player to cry upon retirement. It's an emotional moment, but it brings a larger question. Where are we at in society? Is it okay for a man to cry now, right? Okay.
I think he was crying too, sitting in the audience.
He was. So UAB psychologist Dr. Josh Claypo, Tony Kurre, we were actually out in the hallway already having some of this discussion.
Y'all just brought the debate into here.
We did. But I thought that aren't we at a place now where grown men can cry? What, you know, it's a safe space. It's okay, right? No?
It is. It should be.
Yeah.
But what a lot of grown men are taught, well, they're not taught as grown men, they're taught as boys still, that you don't show that kind of emotion except in certain situations. Sports, movies, a tragedy, but anything in between is not okay. And then just one step down from that, which is it's not so much the crying, but the expression of sadness.
Yeah.
And for a lot of men, they translate that into what's more socially acceptable, which is irritation, anger,
weakness.
And because the crying's a sign of weakness, but what they end up doing is getting mad or showing irritation and frustration when really they're sad.
So it's counterproductive to look at it that way.
Super counterproductive.
Yeah.
You got to pick your spots.
That's fine.
You got to pick your spots. I mean, Dick Vermeil always caught a hard time because he cried more than once. Tim Tebow, you remember when he cried on the side of the?
Oh, he was.
I was like, dude, come on, it's Tim Tebow. But I mean, he still goes down as the crybaby in college football. But yeah, I mean, it's okay to cry. It depends on how old you are, who you're crying in front of. But you don't want to be one of those people that cries more than once. You got to pick your spots. My dad cried one time in front of me in his life, and it's when he lost his best friend, and I'll never forget it. And my dad was a hero. He was the Clint Eastwood of fathers.
Yeah.
My dad was the same way, a Marine. Rarely cried. My dad cried when he talked about his mother, who had passed, and when he talked about the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he always teared up during those times.
I think the point is not the crying. Like, we're all hung up on the crying, but it's this idea of men having the courage to express the real emotion. And that's the problem. That's where we get into problems, which is I'm sad, or as we were talking before, I feel overwhelmed. And what we do, because it's not okay, is we get angry.
We're sending a mixed message, though, but we got to be careful, though, because we're letting too many guys out there, too many young guys, know that it's okay to just on a first date lose it and start crying out yourself.
That's where
you just got to be really careful.
This is fine. This is fine what you're seeing here. I think what Tony's saying is there is a thinking among some men that I can't show that type of emotion in front of a woman because then I'll appear vulnerable, and at some point it'll be used to be weaponized against me. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
I know. And
that's what other men.
That line about vulnerability, that's the money line. This whole idea that if I show vulnerability, it will be used against me or I will be weak, could not be farther from the truth. The research bears it out incredibly. Vulnerability is not about showing weakness is not about showing emotions.
Right.
It's about stuffing the emotion or translating into something that's not productive.
If you're in a plane and you're with the wife and the 3 kids and the plane's going down, Dad better not cry. I'm just saying that's a situation. It's a situation where the father cannot cry.
That is situational.
You can't. You cannot cry.
No.
You cannot cry. That shows weakness in front of your family.
I was thinking the same thing. If someone's trying to attack my family, break in our house or something,
can't do it.
I don't want my husband crying. And my husband would not.
Gotta be calm.
He would not.
But what about, would you?
He would take care of it.
Would you?
Oh, I'd be sobbing like a baby.
Yeah.
But getting my kids to safety. Yeah. But when my husband cries at a movie, I fall in love with him a little bit more.
I do want to say I did cry during The Dirty Dozen. That made me cry.
There you go.
I apologize. Let's go to the kitchen.